Thank you so much for participating in my Tower project, which is about sharing personal experiences with climate change from around the world. So thank you for participating in this podcast. Can you tell me what nature means to you?
Hmm, that's a good question. I think nature is about having the space that you can be imaginable, you can be free your body, you can have this space that you can let your mind rest. That would be my first initial answer at this moment. And also nature, also another senses is about the smell of the freshness, the smell of the fresh air. Those kind of like help you stimulate your whole five senses, to engage with that. My definition of nature is like being able to nourish all my senses in a very mindful, very nourishing way.
I've been doing these recordings for a little while, and every time there is a different answer, and I just loved what you said about what nature means to you, and it's always different. Um, could you describe a natural landscape where you have that sense of nature?
Do you mean like in my point of view of natural landscape?
You talked about those feelings, like that
Oh,
fresh air and it how it stimulates your senses, and where. Where do you like, could you describe if there's a landscape that comes to your mind when you think about
mm,
that?
mm. It comes to my mind is about the look out to the green grass that you can roll around without worrying about ticks, or like something you can walk on it. So you feel like the sense of spaciousness, you can just stretching out far away from everything like buildings or anything. It's just like almost like from nowhere, but at the same time you feel like so open. The nature embrace you. You feel like open and free. The other part of nature, the landscape is about mountain, like, or you go to the top of the hill and but you look down, you can see the ocean, you can see the beach. So it's like difference between the down flat as well as the hills that you could go up and can see overlook everywhere around you. So that would be the ideal nature, the that I would appreciate, they give me that kind of like a sense of ah, wow, Um, and sometimes also, even though simply just walk on a trail, like with the trees surrounded with tree, you could just walk quietly alongside the trail with a little more well pavement. That's I also appreciate too, even though not totally nature, but at the same time the tree, the height of the tree kind of like give you some shelter feeling, um, that I also appreciate as well.
Thank you for sharing. You're from Hong Kong and have lived in the States for decades, and um would you Tower Project is about the climate changes around the world. Could you talk about changes that you have noticed during your lifetime in Hong Kong or in New York State where you live?
Let me talk about Hong Kong first. Definitely I think in the first initial your project when you started, I mentioned about the seasons. There's nothing differentiate the season anymore in Hong Kong, especially like for example, like last year when I went back to Hong Kong in October, it was hot. It was really hot. it's in October. It should be fall season, but it was hot, so you can tell like that's not normal at all. And we all know for quite a while. Um, um, and also the air quality, definitely, you cannot argue about it, especially you comparing we my idea of nature as I described before, that kind of sense of the five senses. You don't want your five senses to be emerging to emerge into that kind of environment because it's so much more polluted. Air, especially noise pollution. Um, yeah, so that is about Hong Kong. In the state, mm, I think in the States you can still have some places you can escape from that kind of like scenario, like a city scenario. There's a lot of noises, a lot of people, a lot of like air pollution. In the state, you still can find trails. You can still find mountains or hiking place that you can go for. Uh, but there's another pollution definitely happening. I mean, I'm part of it too, digital pollution, like electricity, everything, so more like using a lot of technology to operate. So those are hidden pollution that we actually may not be aware of or in a normal sense. But at the same time, if you really pay attention, that actually is all around surrounding us. We cannot totally escape about it. Even though you turn off the phone, the tower, the connection of the mobile or electricity, those are still surrounding you, cables, everything. So I guess that's part of the how we can, totally out of that pollution or out of that distraction is not easy. Yeah. But I have to say, I'm gonna go back to the Hong Kong part. Actually, Hong Kong actually do have some hiking place. They do have like islands that you can have a little bit more like a nature part of it. But you definitely have to go to it. It's not that um often people would do, but I'm sure that people pay more attention now. Like I know that some of my friends that they would really look for it and just like, hey, I need to take a break, not just stay in the city, like really go for find some place that they can escape. Yeah.
How does that make you feel having witnessed the pollution and the seasonal changes? How does that make you feel and your friends, family?
I think we have to make an effort. That's mostly I feel like um I would say not take for granted of what we have and how we can preserve the way that we can in our effort to do it. You know. Uh, so it's about pay attention, pay more awareness, pay more effort. I don't feel totally. I don't kind of like can describe or say, oh, I'm upset about it. I'm angry about no, or I'm happy that I mean obviously when I'm going to the nature, I'm happy with that. I feel like the difference. But I think it's just like, oh wow, we cannot deny about that. Kind of like you have to wake up, I have to wake up. This is not something you have to take for granted anymore.
Mhm.
Even though you see the little garbage on the streets, like okay, little plastic, small. just take it in a correct place to discard instead of just let it flying around. Some little little thing, like little detail thing actually could be affect a lot of stuff, you know. So I would say that would be more important for me.
Do you have any other thoughts, like what solutions there might be to the environmental changes, the global warming?
Definitely, I think in the citizens level, I think that's what we can do. Like just recycle, uh, how to, be mindful with how you're using your electronic thing, those things in our own level. But I think mostly of is the government regulation, the lawmaker, are they really doing the environmental protection? That is the actually is they should be able to do more than us. But I'm afraid to say that I don't see anything the effort can make as much as we would like to see at this moment or in the near 10 years. So that is something that's scary, I have to say. You talk about feeling, right? That is the feeling that I think it would be the scary I would I would describe in that way.
Do you have hope?
Oh, definitely have. You have to. And we all have to, you know. Eh, if not, then it would be we will not be able to keep moving forward in the way that we want. Even though I'm talking about pick up a garbage, that's that's because I hope, right? I hope that will help. Then I make an action to make a change, right?
Mhm.
I cannot call it a change in that action, but at the same time, it's like, okay, just make something, do something in my own capacity that I am capable. So yeah, definitely, no matter what, you have to keep the hope.
Thank you for sharing that. That's great.
Mhm.
Um, I'd love you to, if you can also say maybe the last part, if you could also say that in Cantonese, which is your native language. Could you also say that last part in Cantonese?
The
Or
last
anything
part
you
of
would like to say in Cantonese about
hmm.
solutions, hope, nature.
如果我哋想個環境更加好嘅時候，我我哋其實最需要嘅係盡自己最可以做嘅嘢，就算係一啲好少意思，見到個地下有垃圾，執少少，即係大家去點樣去幫嗰個環境係維護到嘅，我覺得其實已經好足夠啦。喺呢個情況，即係喺呢個 level 上，大家盡大家嘅能力，同埋我會覺得，就算係而家好似係呢個環境嘅改變係真係無可厚非，我哋係要面對嘅。喺我哋嘅公民上嘅程度係好難去改變，但係我希望我仍然有呢個希望係可以政府或者係可以改變策略，去令到呢個環境係可以改變喺佢哋公共上嘅設施啊，好似係電車啊，即係 electrical car 啊，或者係用嘅電源啊，或者係佢點樣燃燒一個資源啊嗰方面，即係嗰樣嘢政府其實係可以做得多啲咯。咁而同埋佢嗰個教育嗰方面，咁我覺得係需要係啦。咁我覺得係咯，保持 保持住我哋嘅希望啦。咁雖然係好似好驚係喎，5年之後、10年之後係發生咩事，我哋都唔知道。但係我覺得仍然係要保持一個希望，希望在明天嘅。
Thank you so much.